What's good, YouTube? And welcome to a holiday miracle! Today's Market Watch, I'm going to go over all cards that I would be getting sooner than later, because the number one asked question on the channel from people who usually aren't around all the time is, what should I be buying right now to make some free money? There's no free tendies, there's risk with everything, there's speculation, there's things that can go wrong. But these cards are things I would be using in trades as kind of filler, like bridge that gap of, oh, we're not quite to a deal, hey, can you throw these kind of cards in to get to the value? So I'm going to start with Snatch Steel here. I've brought it up before. It's slowly coming up for the secret rare, and I believe it just peeled off to 2 on either the OCG or Master Duel list. I want to say OCG list, and the secret rare is technically the second highest rarity, although I would still put first edition original over it along with quarter century secret rare, maybe even the DB one, but it's still a secret rare printing of this, and it reminds me of Delinquent Duo, where it came out, it was $2 for the longest, and then it randomly went up. Oh yeah, this hasn't been printed in a while. Oh, Goat's taken off, and it went to $20 and has stayed in that range ever since. Now, this is a $30 MSRP set that's harder to obtain and open and pull cards from, so I don't expect Snatch Steel to be like a $20 card, but I could see this being $5 to $8 pretty easily down the road. That's the other thing with penny stonks, though. You have to think of margins. Shipping is more expensive than ever. Platform fees are up there, so penny stonks aren't also the easiest to profit off. It's more getting cards that you didn't have to spend as much on, unless you're going deep stacks, and then there is a higher risk because you're spending more money on that deep stack of them, right? Planet's Pathfinder, I really like having its first holofoil here in Crossover Breakers. It also comes rare in the set, I believe, and this is the holo upgrade, so not as prevalent. You can see people went for it early and it came back down quickly. Still a super penny stonk you can get under 20 cents when building carts. Evil Swarm Exciton Knight is in a similar vein there, that most of its holos are $2 to $3 to $4, and this is a brand new super rare sitting at 20 cents. I think this will easily become $1 plus over time. Silent Magician quarter century secret rare has slowly come down even further. I find this extremely interesting and really like this quarter century secret rare because of the popularity of this card, its theming, but also it has 2 figures coming out, one Genshin Impact waifu'd up figure, and one that is far more faithful to the adaptations of the card. So I think there's an upward trend actually of people displaying cards with their figures going on. I see it online, and I do think people will come around to this and, oh, I should finally add that to my Yugi collection. Oh, the figure's here, I want to display it with it. I think these will go for multiple purposes outside of the metagame and more for collecting. Remember that ultra rare was $45 to $50 before this reprint announcement, and that was ridiculous. Torrential Tribute is slowly going up for its quarter century secret rare. People just don't want to open these tins. It finds itself into multiple past formats, so I just really like it. I see this easily being 4 to 5 one day personally. Again, that's speculation though. We don't know what Konami will do and when they will do it. Starlight Special Edition for the 30th or some 30th rare. Scapegoat by that vein also. The format fell off, let's be real. Not as many people are playing it, but I could see Konami doing something special with past formats, past just giant card one day. We've already ramped up to better pricing and more interest than ever was thought. When I started talking about past formats, people were only playing Goat and maybe Dragon Ruler and a couple of others, and I kept saying, hey, a lot of people one day are gonna be with this, and here we are. So I think it could continue to get its more reverence and up there with Konami recognizing it more, and I think Goat could eventually be in that conversation at under $1 for the quarter century secret rare. I like the card a lot personally. Blackwing Blizzard the Far North. This and Edison is still doing its thing. Blackwings are very interesting to me, and it's ultra rare out of Crystal Revenge, not the most populated in the world, and starting to come up right now. So it might be a better time to get yours because there's still plenty of listings under $1. So check your sellers and cards when checking out, or, you know, trades in person like I said, if you're still bothering with the trade buy. reminder. Rescue Cat is still very, very cheap for its quarter century secret rare. Caliber Cat and different decks for past formats. I think this is highly underestimated, especially with how revered its Turbo Pack version used to be and how pricey that used to be. I definitely like this one. Speedroid Terratop is one of those potential things where I could really see it taking off one day, and right now sits around $2.25 for its quarter century secret rare, so I definitely think this is just more on its playability than reverence in the game for future formats. Again, you never know how many different reprints will come after that. That's why I like the cheap quarter century secret rare. Sprite Sprint is interesting to me because it only has its ultra rare Out of Battles of Legend as its recent reprint. They didn't do anything with 10s on this one, and people don't want to open this. However, ultra rares are a lot more populated in this, so it's kept it cooler for a while, but it's starting to slowly go up. I know that's a couple pennies, but look how quickly it gets to $1.50, and Sprite has that real potential with anything it could mesh with in the future, and still could creep into formats today, I feel like. So this is one I just like, especially the secret rare if you can Sprite Spring for it. But jokes aside, I do think the ultra rare is a pretty solid penny stonk too, and we can see it has started to go up. I really like the Akiza and Black Rose token, and it's actually come down because people just wanted Infinite Forbidden and ripped it open trying to get any profit back out of it. So this token has crept under $5, and I think having both Akiza and Black Rose so iconic and representation into Yu-Gi-Oh! I could see this being, with token collections, which is a real thing, really up there one day towards $12, maybe even 20, way off in the future if we don't get any other cool token products that feature her or have something special around her. This is one of the most sellable characters for Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's be honest. The Black Rose figure also is a very nice piece. Chaos Emperor Dragon of Armageddon Out of Battles of Legend is under $5 and has crept down. Now, this could fight for resources in the new Dragon Rulers, as well as Blue Eyes. It could be Search with Melody. We've seen a lot of decks suddenly adapt it in formats with Dragon Link decks, so we have multiple Dragon decks, but it does fight for those resources. I just like it for being a price card reprint, and those often come back up over time until they get a reprint. Now, Stampede is still around the corner. Should be mentioning that with all of these cards, that if it's not already quarter century secret rare, you bet bucko that 200 different cards in a pool could have something like this as well and give it that version, but it also could be skipped. That's why I like $5 and under cards for the risk, but the other version that is slept on is $1. People just don't like this collector rare looking name with the holographic as much, even though the silver kind of is the special thing about battles. Well, we want the normal ultra rare. Seriously though, at just $1, I really like this one, but at $3, I feel like this would be the one bought out first and spiked ridiculously. Ancient Chant Collector Rare is one I've brought up before. This is going to be bank busters now, 5 and over, more towards 10, although I have one product to suggest. Ancient Chant Collector Rare has slowly actually crept up over time from when it was 8 and I suggested it, and is now $10. However, what's super notable is the ultra rares are non-stop going up in price and down in quantities. People just want to build character decks, have things around this, and check this out. We actually see from Rage of Ra, this has gone back towards $7. The collector rare is less than $2 more. I could see this being 20 easily if it doesn't get some kind of quarter century secret rare in Bonanza's predecessor, what would you call that? Successor? My bad. It's successor in Stampede. But seriously, the other version has come on up too, and it's $5.50 for the Maze Ultra Rare reprint. Come on, it's a couple bucks more for that collector rare, even if collectors could fall through. Now, if we get the nostalgia pool, it will still affect the card, but it would not have a collector rare reprint. Curry Card Divine Carnate does not have a quarter century secret rare. It was the face cover of an OCG product along with a couple other cards that should have been our Maven's 2 if we got Maven's 2. However, we didn't. So this card is lacking in overall reprints, and I really like the OTS Ultimate for this reason. It walks a line of it wouldn't just fall off completely if it got a quarter century secret rare, and has potential for future formats. This card has an overhyped history into an appropriately hyped history of really proving itself, and is an option that could come back at some point. And we do see the Starlight rare has a little bit of interest in it right now. I really like the Ultimate rare for mid-maxing this, and also hedging bets in terms of not going all in, while also being able to walk a line of a reprint when it hurt an OTS ulti all that much, where the lower versions, a reprint could really end up hurting those. I really like the Legendary Collection 25th Anniversary Edition, and here's why. Every single version of this card, like this product for cards, has resold towards $60 over time so far. This one is starting to sell out, and if you can get it at retail or under, which is $150, I suggested this while it was cheaper if you listened, but there's still a couple here. These are about to end up going slowly off the market, most likely. So I really like this sealed to keep sealed, not to rip open. All these QCRs have been slowly coming up in price for these icons as the sets really developed over time and people want to mix and match different versions, especially the unplayable god cards. People actually really like those sets. So I do think that this is something that will be successful over time, and it's starting to go way out in quantity, and it does have an exclusive pack to it, the 25th Dark Crisis pack, which has some interesting values inside. A lot of the singles inside have come down over time, although buyouts have gone. The products sealed themselves have gone up, and it has competition from those, so do understand the risk. But I still really like this and think one day it could be a double up within a couple of years. I would probably still try to get rid of it before the 30th in case they do a little something something with Legendary Collection for the 30th, though. Tomb Blackluster Soldier, quarter century secret rare specifically, is pretty buried in Bonanza because there's, again, 200 cards, so people aren't scouring for every single quarter century secret rare, and it's slowly come down and is around just under $11. However, I was looking through the different versions, and the cheapest one is the Battles of Legend at just $8. So the quarter century secret rare is just a couple of bucks more. I would probably get this version, especially if you're a toon collector. A lot of the toon penny stonks I pointed out over time, like Bookmark Secret Rare, have gone up in price slowly, and I could see this one eventually doing so, but it's largely ignored now for the size of the set of Bonanza. So big brain play, only a couple of bucks more than its cheapest version for that super sparkly one. I think people will end up liking it. And finally, big surprise of Blue Eyes. Retro Pack is not open super deeply by vendors because it's a retail only pack for the most part. OTS has got those boxes and wanted to sell those boxes sealed because they are way up in price versus a typical box. However, this set has done nothing but come down since it's been rewaved into the ground because it was such a retail success. So I think that will eventually stop when they stop selling, and the price has reflected that. However, Blue Eyes format is coming. There's tons of options for different Blue Eyes, but this has that old card feel that people were ranting and raving about on Reddit, and myself, my boomer self, I really liked the product, and I like the cards. People spent more, around 20. I think I even bought one around 20 just for the collection to have, and these are now around $7, and there's tons of them under $10. I think it's a decent version of the card, and the LOB one, the 25th, just for having the LOB on there, is $20-something. But then again, that booster box is very expensive, so there's other variables at play to understand. This one, however, I like, and it's cheap. Almost hits the penny stonk range, but has come down to a third of its price it was selling at somewhat consistently when we look at the past, and the graphs have just slowly fallen off. So it could continue to do so. That's the thing with cheap cards. Sometimes there's just not that overall interest there. Other times it does take off, and sometimes it slowly disappears, while other times it gets ignored. I try to bring all the factors together that could give it attention. Some you might see as a reach, like the figures for Silent Magician. Others you might see my arguments. I've had plenty of times where I've had stacks of cards I got stuck with completely and ended up either breaking even on or selling at a loss or not even making anything back on. I remember pulling Champion's Vigilance, I'm a vigilant champion, out of bulk thinking one day there will be normal cards that you'll want to leave on the board for an Omni Negate, and they reprinted that in a structure deck and it still never saw play. So I can miss by an entire barn side, right? Like, this might be a layup or it could be complete trash. That's player brain versus market brain at times. That's why I try to bring collector aspects into this as well, and also go through past formats. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the conversation, and happy holidays. I'll probably see you after Christmas, unless we do a special upload before.